Well, hey folks, it's Bobby Weber with the Harley and the Vstrom. Today's date is September the 11th, 2021, 9/11, Saturday. And let's see, I'm showing about 9 o'clock. I'm going to go out for a little ride. Always try and ride on 9/11, so let me hit this intro and then I'll get back on here and we'll talk about this ride a little bit. Well, hey folks, I'm back on here. Like I said, you know, it's September 11th, 2021. Gonna go out here on a, you know, Saturday. It's supposed to be a pretty day. Gonna go do some riding, and as you can tell, I'm on the Vstrom. I'm just coming off it. You know, last weekend was Labor Day weekend, and I made that long road trip back to Georgia to see some friends, and you know, took off on a Friday and then, you know, returned on Monday. So, but yeah, I was on that Harley, and that was that's what it was. It was a trip, you know, mostly interstate riding, and it was long, and but I mean, it, you know, like I said, I always try to take trips on motorcycles, and I mean, I had a good time, everything. Figured I'd take a break from that Harley for a little bit, ride the Vstrom, get out here and see some pretty sights. I think I got a decent route selected for today. Going back up, kind of toward northern Arkansas, so you know, it gets a little prettier up there. But anyway, while we're on here talking about 9/11, all my blessings go out to anybody that was involved in that, and you know, lost any loved ones. I know there's a lot of people were affected by that. It's hard to believe it. That has been 20 years ago. Almost seems like it was, you know, just a couple years ago, because, you know, it's so significant that I think a lot of us, you know, remember that day. And always will. But anyway, let me do this. Got to do some interstate riding, of course, to get to where I want to go. So, but I mean, I got some back highways and stuff I'm gonna ride, which I'd rather ride them anyway. Anyway, I'll get back on here in a little bit and show you some more of this ride. Well, okay folks, I'm back on here. Got on a little smaller highway, got away from the traffic. Figured I'd get on here and tell you where I'm going today. I'm going up toward Grizz Ferry Lake, you know, and I mean, if you're local, you know, you'll know where that's at. And but anyway, gonna be up there riding around. I think I'm taking one of these loops, supposed to be a scenic loop, you know, right around the lake there. So I'm just getting out to do something. I don't know, I've always made it a habit on 9/11, you know, ever since that happened, to go for a motorcycle ride, you know, when I can, when I wasn't working or whatever, and so that's what I'm going to do today. And you know, while we're talking about 9/11, I want to say, hey, I love you, my brothers and sisters out there, all you first responders, all of you. We pray for you every day, and our men and women in uniform. We need to pray for them all, because there's a lot of things going on, and you really don't realize how much you appreciate those folks till you need them. and of course 9/11 showed us all that. And I'll tell you, I was still in the service when 9/11 happened back, 2001. And I remember that day just like it was yesterday. To tell you the truth, I was still in the Army, stationed at Fort Stewart, Georgia, which 3rd Infantry Division, Mechanized Infantry Division. Still considered a rapid deployment force. And believe it or not, of all places to be on that day, I was at a firing range, small arms range. And I was getting toward the end of my career because I retired in 2003. I mean, I had to do a little bit of extra time because they put me on stop loss. But, everybody knows if you're in the service, you get your retirement orders, once you submit for, about a year before, so you plan all that out. But anyway, I was on a small arms range, and I was a staff, I guess considered a staff NCO, because like I said, I was getting toward the end of my career, and I'd done my squad leader time and platoon sergeant time, and I got moved up to the battalion headquarters, and basically sat behind a computer an awful lot, and, pushed out a lot of paperwork, and then some officer, which I had good officers there, but they were the ones that actually signed off on the paperwork, push out orders to the battalion. But anyway, I remember being on that firing range, and all firing ranges in the military, you got pretty much most of them have like a tower, so that the range NCO, can control what's going on there, and they got PA system, and give you orders when to fire, when to not fire, and all that. And I remember them calling the leadership into the base of the tower. And I mean, I wasn't no high-ranking NCO really, but I was there with my battalion operations sergeant major, and I was actually, sergeant majors don't drive himself. I was actually his driver, to tell you the truth. And so, we got told what happened, and from that moment on, I remember me and the sergeant major had to jump in the Humvee and get our butts back to battalion headquarters, because from that moment on, we went to 24-hour operations. And then eventually 3rd Infantry Division deployed, but a lot of people joined up with the services after that, doing patriotic duty, and it was a good thing. A lot of good Americans. All walks of life, that's one thing. When things bad like that happen, boy, you'll see Americans pull together like never before. And I tell you, that's what we got to be doing right now, because I'm going to tell you something about 9/11. And there's information out there, but 9/11 isn't what the majority of people think. There's some things starting to come out, because somebody has decided it's time that the people get the real information, and it is time. Yeah, you can go ahead and say I'm crazy. Some nutcase, conspiracy theorist, but I'm just telling you, there's a lot of information, a lot of individuals that were firefighters that survived and you know, from New York City, and police officers. That know something wasn't right with 9/11, what they put out to the public, and that information is starting to come out. So, you know, keep an open mind, but there's information starting to finally get told and put out. Now you'll have to go searching for it, and a lot of people say, oh, ain't no way that's the truth, you know, that's not what really happened. But I'm telling you, there are a lot of videos out there, and I mean, there's testimony, or, you know, on film recordings of people that were actually eyewitnesses there, and, you know, that had some expertise in the field. You know, all these firefighters, for them buildings to come down like they did, something don't add up, you know. And I mean, I never was an arson investigator, or excuse me, you know, a forensic investigator, but I'm just telling you, there's some things that just don't add up. And anyway, that information's coming out, and you can find it if you want. You're gonna be shocked, and that's probably why you'll say, oh, there ain't no way that happened. But it's out there. Go hunting for it. You'll find the real truth. You know, I mean, I was just like anybody. I was young NCO. Well, you know, I consider that young now because I'm so much older. It's been 20 years, you know, since 9/11 happened. But you know, really good shape, you know, and in the Army, well trained. I was ready to go, you know, ready to go, just like anybody, all them young people that joined the service. They were ready to go and fight for their country and do what was asked of them, and there ain't nothing wrong with that. But I think we were all duped. I think we were all set up, and you know, we did our part. That ain't our fault, but there was some masterminds that had a higher plan than what we thought. So go out there and search it, find it. Just, you know, have an open mind. That's all I'm saying. Have an open mind, and do you some snooping. Try and find those ones that's got the weird stories that don't match up to what was put out on the news. Some of that out there will shock you, and I think the reason some of that information's being leaked out and put out is because there are a lot of things going on that, you know, we'll talk about this corona, I guess. We'll just say you're one of them people that has researched a little bit about 9/11 and you got a different opinion on what happened. Well, do you think they could use the same thing to influence the people about this so-called sickness that's going around? You don't think they could? Ah, come on now. We all go to the movies. We love going to those action movies, you know. doing all their scenes with the action and explosions and gunfights. You don't think they can make you think that something happens the way they want you to think? You know, there's movies where, you know, if you ain't used to that kind of stuff, something happens all of a sudden, people jump, you know, get scared just because they've got you in that. And I mean, that's what going to the movies is for, you know, it's a good time. But because they got you in that mindset, and then all of a sudden you hear a big explosion when you weren't expecting it, or all of a sudden somebody opens up with gunfire, you know, they've got you in that moment there. And I mean, that's entertainment, and that's what it's for. But it just shows you what, you know, they can lead the mind to do, you know. So you know, be open-minded about it, and you know, see if you can find out some information out there, just to, you know, just to soothe your curiosity, or, you know, answer some questions, or just to see, well, are them people crazy? Go on out there and look for them. It's out there, and more of it's being released. Matter of fact, as of this day, you know, this morning I got up fairly early. Wasn't in no hurry. You know, I got all day to ride, and you know, drank some coffee and turned on the news. You know, of course they're having, you know, everything about 9/11 up there, and tell you the truth, I had to turn the TV off because I don't watch a lot of regular TV. I don't, and because they'll put you in moods that'll affect you for the rest of the day. You know, and I could tell. That's why I didn't watch very much this morning, because, you know, they're going through their, and I feel for all the people that were affected. God bless y'all, and I pray for y'all, and I feel bad for people that lost loved ones and friends and relatives and stuff in that. But just the way they were going about it, I mean, it was going to put you in a depressive mood if you sat there and kept watching that stuff, you know. I mean, like, with all due respect, I'm telling you, brothers and sisters, I feel for you if you were affected by that. You know, if you ain't American, well, I mean, you know, if you are an American, 9/11 affected you. If you know, you were old enough, and you know, and of course we're told on the television what happened and stuff. Well, as y'all can see, I finally got where the scenery's pretty. It's supposed to be kind of a windy route, and you know, when I get closer to the lake and stuff, there'll be water around, so I didn't just go out, you know, without thinking about a you know, route I wanted to ride. And man, I just did that long trip on that Harley. I'm ready to get off it, to tell you the truth. I mean, I loved it, and I'm glad I was on the Harley on that trip, because, you know, I was really traveling those interstate speeds, and I needed that extra power and, you know, comfort, I guess, of that Harley for that. But I'm really looking forward to getting out, and I'm very lucky, you know, I'll have to say that I got, you know, two basically opposite kind of bikes, and you know, gives me the opportunity to get out here and take a break from the Harley and go out here, and even though it's not quite my childhood motorcycle days, you know, because I mean I used to ride them dirt bikes and I loved them little motocross bikes, man. They were so quick, get up to top speed so fast. But you know, kind of just reminds me of a little bit of that, and that's why you know, that's why I got an adventure bike. But still a lot of information coming out, folks. You know, our so-called president, which he ain't my president, never will be, come out this past week, well, heck, just, I don't know, 2 or 3 days ago, you know, talking about everybody's got to get, you know what, going to force more companies and to mandate that. He's overstepping his bounds, and I think really that was kind of set up to let the people know how bad it can get, you know. When government starts telling you that you got to do something medically, that's none of their darn, well, hell, it's none of their damn business. Put it that way. They have no right whatsoever to tell you what you need to do to your body. You know, it's all up to you. We really got some problems, you know. And I'm optimistic. I think there's gonna, man, it's pretty out here. See this, I'm gonna tell y'all something. Farmer out there on his tractor, bush hogging. This, to me, when I'm out here like this in these pretty places, I couldn't ask for anything more, you know. To me, that's my piece of heaven, and that's why I do it. You know, I don't know, you know, nobody knows how long you have on this, you know, in your life. You don't know one day to the next what's going to happen, if you're going to be here or not. And but I guess, you know, because I was in the service so long, and you know, and then, you know, went right into policing because it was so closely related to what I was doing. You know, I didn't get a lot of opportunity to go out and see our beautiful country, and there's so many places I want to go, and I hope God gives me the lifespan to be able to go and see some of these places. I probably never get to see them all, but that's okay, as long as I can get out here and keep having another trip. But I mean, you know, a lot of people say, it's just some old guy, you know, he ain't got nothing better to do. Well, sometimes these little simple things, we've let them slip. And you know, because it's a fast-paced world, you know. I know, I had to work with the computer, and you know, and I've done the gaming thing back when I was younger, and you know, everything's technology. But just the simple things that we, you know, used to, you know, we all played outside and used our imagination for the computer part of it. You know, we had to imagine a lot of things happening, you know, when you're a young child, you know, just like any young boy, you know, played with army guys and had trucks and tanks, and you know, you just had to use your imagination to make the to make the battle happen back then, you know. But, and I'm not saying nothing bad about the young people. Technology's technology, you know. It ain't their fault. I played them games. Yeah, they're pretty realistic. But, you know, it does take away from you using your own mind to imagine, you know, having fun or whatever. Sorry, I didn't mean to get on that little tangent, but, you know, sometimes but going back to, there ain't nothing more I'd rather do. I mean, there's a lot of ceremony things going on 9/11, and I've been involved with them in the past. But what works for me is just to get out here and ride my motorcycle, and, you know, be left with my thoughts, man. That's what I do, you know. And I mean, that's how I deal with a lot of stuff. You know, I mean, yeah, I was a police officer, and I mean, that's stressful business there. It's a very stressful business, and that's why a lot of police officers, you know, they struggle later on, and they struggle while they're in that field, you know. But I always found that the motorcycle was the way I could go out and just, you know, talk to God and, you know, and reason with things, you know. Anyway, folks, there are a lot of things happening. Pay attention. Mainstream media is still full of shit, as far as I'm concerned. You have to read between the lines, and, you know, there's some stuff coming out about this November 2020, you know. There was some information released this week, and they haven't released that results from that audit in Arizona yet, but I think they're building their way to it. And sometimes it seems like all of a sudden these headlines, you know, this happened, that happened. A lot of times I think they do that to get you not to pay attention to some information that's coming out. And I'm just going to tell you, they're not going to put it on the mainstream media, not yet. And I'm talking about in reference to these audits. Everything is on the internet, and you have to be able to find it. A lot of times pretty quick, because a lot of these platforms, they'll take that information down so people don't get to see it. So that information is due to be out. They keep saying it's getting closer and closer. We'll see. But I would pay attention to what's going on in the world. I mean, all over. There's more demonstrations across, you know, different countries. I got a message on my phone talking about some of the demonstrations in France. And I think the good people, that's people like you and me. If you're watching this video, I'm going to consider you a good person, an everyday normal person. And the everyday normal person is getting fed up. They're getting tired of these lockdowns, getting tired of these government officials coming out and telling you more and more what you can and can't do. And we weren't put on this earth, you know, God let you come into this earth, you know, this world, and let you decide what kind of person you wanted to be. You know, if you know, if you want to be a bad person, you know, steal stuff and, you know, do whatever, you were born with that free choice to make that, you know. Thank goodness there's a lot more of us out here that make the choice to be a good person, do the right thing, go to work, pay your bills, take care of your family. You know, that's the majority of America right there. We have the numbers. The good American, we have the numbers in this country to do what we want. Now, I'm not saying go out here and be violent. You don't have to do anything like that. But if we all got together, and I mean, yeah, you probably do have to pick you a leader or two of different groups. But as long as they're representing you, your values, your ideals, because there's always going to be people that step up. Excuse me, folks. Into those type of leadership positions. There's just some people that naturally fall into those. And believe it or not, we need people like that. We're always going to need them. Some people are just cut out for it more than others. And you very well may be one of those people that's sitting here listening to me. Hope you are. It's alright looking at my... Kind of made me a cheat sheet what highways I need to stay on, you know, when what ones I'm gonna be turning off on. I don't really have it plotted on GPS. I just put in the city and... But anyway, there are a whole bunch of us good folks. We have the numbers. And don't forget that I said this one time before. Every one of those elected officials work for us, we the people. And you have to hold their feet to the fire. And if they refuse to do what we want, they don't need to be there no more. They don't need to be there no more. So, alright folks, I'm starting to come into a little town. I'll cut this off, but I'll get back on here and show some more of this riding. Y'all hang in there. Y'all keep praying. We need God's help. I'll get off here for now. Well, hey folks, I'll get back on here and riding across the dam over here. Let me stand up and get a few shots down there. It's pretty. Yep. Pretty place. Kind of snuck up on me, so I just had to flip the record button on the camera real quick. I'm gonna pull in here for a minute. Yeah, that's actually where I wanted to stop at. J.F. Kennedy Overlook and Memorial. Be quiet, GPS. just coming over here to get a couple shots of water in the distance there. I don't know if y'all can see that, but anyway, I'm gonna shut this thing off for now. I'm gonna get on foot, and then I'll pull one of these other cameras out if I get to something worth filming for y'all. Bye. Well, there you go, folks. Got off on foot, got off bike for a minute. There's that dam, and that's Grizz Ferry's Lake. Dedicated by John F. Kennedy, President of the United States, 3 October 1963. Grizz Ferry Reservoir. There's a couple plaques up here for somebody lost their life while they were working on this project in 1961. Mr. Bill Killen. There's another one in memory of our dad, Edward Phillips. He lost his life April 4th, 1960 while working on this project, donated by his children. Anyway, I wasn't trying to be a downer. I was just looking at the plaques that they had hung up. But I'd heard that President Kennedy had came here, and I think it was on a trip to Dallas, Texas. I don't know what happened there. Anyway, I figured I'd show you all a few shots of that. That's pretty cool, the things we can do when we put our minds to it and stuff. But anyway, I'll get off here for now. Just figure I'd show a little bit of that. Hey folks, back on here, I actually have a little monument here, a bust of President Kennedy. I just wanted to get a little bit of that in there. We got the flags at half-mast, MIA flag, and of course the flag of the United States. Here's the old Vstrom sitting there. Walking back over to it. Fixing to get on the road, but I actually specifically did want to stop by this place. So I'm glad I came by. I ain't never been here before. Here, I'll get myself in the shot real quick. Let's see. There, the sun's blinding me, but that's me and the Vstrom right there. But there, I'll walk around a little different. Anyway, bike's there. They ain't really loaded down because I'm just out for a day trip. I already had to take my jacket off. It was cool this morning. I just wore that little lightweight jacket. Anyway, I'll get off here for now, and I'll get back on a little bit later. Well, hey folks, I'm back on there for a minute. I guess there's a fish hatchery here, and then pretty cool. I'm just gonna ride through this little park. There's actually a park here named in President John F. Kennedy's name. And looks like you can come down here and camp. A few people down here. Yeah, I think, yeah, I just passed the hatchery part, I guess. There's a couple of shots of the water down there. Let's see, I'm trying to get a little bit of a clear spot maybe. Oh, there's some steps down here, so I'll stop here just for a minute. There you go. Old vulture down there. Hope I'm getting him in the video. There's 2 or 3 of them down there. Anyway, I'm out here exploring. I ain't just goofing off. Like a little boat ramp. People down there fishing. Yeah, that's cool. I don't know how much this part I'll throw in the video. I mean, I'll throw some of it in there. I've never been here before. I did, I guess, when I was a kid. We did camp around Grizz Ferry Lake, but it's been a long time since I've been here. Just kind of wanted to check it out. Sure, I might come back some other time and camp, but tell you what, I'm gonna get off here. I'm gonna ride back to these people's camping areas. I mean, you know, not that there's nothing wrong with it, but just out. That's the thing, boy. I tell you. You gotta love motorcycles, because you know, if you find something off the edge of the road or whatever, especially on this, you know, Vstrom or any other kind of dual sport bike or anything, you know, you can always pull off, and so easy to get on and off the road. I love being around water. Anytime I get a chance to show y'all a creek or a river or something, you can just about count I'm gonna do it. And anyway, it wasn't a bad little park to ride through. Got camping areas there. Yeah, there's a little fish hatchery, so I guess they let you go enter in there and you go down there and look at the little fish. I guess they stock, I'm sure they use them to stock this lake. That's cool. Oh well, I ain't gonna bore y'all to death with that. I just wanted to see what this was down here. I'll get back on there. Bye.